next thing we're going to do has to do with these little tiny phyllo cups that everyone knows I love. They are a wonderful, wonderful, pre-made, prepared, all you have to do is fill them and serve them type item, right? Which is why I like them. I love the phyllo cup thing. If you've ever done raw phyllo and tried to work with it, I promise you, you will throw it in the trash, go buy these, and never touch the stuff again. It's that annoying. It's like 1/10 as thick as paper, and it comes in a stack, and you have to kind of peel it apart and try and cut it and shape it and work with it. Just buy the cups, trust me, okay? This is our champagne cheese. It is a processed, pasteurized cheddar cheese, okay? However, it has that champagne flavor to it. So it's a slightly sweeter cheese. It's got a little bit different flavor to it. Everybody downstairs says to me, what am I going to do with that? Because you can't put spicy mustard on it, and it doesn't really go well with pepperoni, okay? Here's what we're going to do with it. We are going to take our cheese, and it says dice or shred. I shredded this simply because it's time friendly, okay? However, I'm going to dice this block real quick. The reason I say dice is because it's not going to take all this cheese. And then you have some diced up. You can serve with your strawberries, with your spreads, outside the cups, in some other form than the way we're going to do it. This is a semi-hard cheese. Is anyone familiar with Fontina? Gruyere, not Gruyere, I'm sorry, Goudas? Okay. It's similar in consistency to that. It's not as hard as, say, cheddars and things like that, but it's not quite as soft as your Fontinas. And I am going to dice this up, and we're just going to serve it plain so you can actually taste the difference in this cheese. It's a very different cheddar. When you come up, or when we try this, I want everybody to actually smell it, and that sounds really strange, but it's got a sweet smell to it. It's not like a normal aged, it's definitely not blue cheese, I promise, okay? The reason we say dice this on that recipe is because it's a whole lot easier to simply take one piece and load it in your container or your shell and work with that. And you can get the size that you're looking for as well. If it's too thick, we simply cut it smaller. If you want bigger, you can just add more to it. Now, the jam and jelly that I'm using, has anyone used either of these before? Yes? The strawberry one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It's downstairs in the produce department. The reason I paired it with the fig is because I was taking a guess that no one in this room, or very few people, have ever tried fig jam.
Yes, indeed. Oh, yes.
It's fantastic, correct? It's not something that most people will buy simply because if you're going to buy jams, you're going to buy the one that you like. You're going to buy the one that you're familiar with just because you don't want to spend money on something you're not going to like. This is an opportunity for you to try something different, and I promise you it is well worth it. It goes great with any cheese that I can think of. The stronger the cheese, the better it goes with it because it kind of, the sweetness of it balances it out a little bit. I'm just chopping this up so we have it when we're ready. It's a very good contrast. The stronger the cheese, like I said, the better flavor you'll get out of the fig spread. Okay. Now, back to our pastry bags. You can use spoons if you have them. Ziploc bags work amazingly. Fill your Ziploc bag, cut the corner off. And then all we're going to do is squeeze this down on half of our little phyllo cup. The reason we're going to do half is because we'll fill the other half with our fig. Now, I chose two that I know are readily available downstairs. However, if you have something different at home, if you have something different you prefer, by all means try it. If you have an orange marmalade, or you have a mixed fruit marmalade, or you have peach preserves or apricot, they will work. What you're looking for is the sweetness in the jams to kind of work with the cheese instead of working against it. I probably should move that out of the way, huh? Now maybe you can see what I'm doing. Now, we went half with our strawberry, and all we're going to do is go back with our fig. And you don't want it to be heaping. This is supposed to kind of melt together. And once it melts together, it's really going to fill these cups. So we just want to put enough in there to make it work and fill. This one doesn't want to work on me. I'm telling you, this fig jam is fantastic.
I wanted some on a piece of toast last night and couldn't get the lid off of it. So I had to put that back up and cabinet.
They make things to help you with that, you know that, right?
I got it when I was here at Christmas and they had all those goodies with the brie and the fig and strawberry in the brie cheese.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I got it.
Downstairs, they have a can opener for these. It's got this giant set of claws on it, really skitty handle. It's in the dollar zone. It'll squeeze onto any type of lid that you can find,
If I open it, I'll try it.
and it'll open it.
Okay, thank you.
Back to our phyllo cups. Once we get them all filled, I have my oven set at 300 degrees. Okay, we're going to put them in there roughly 10 to 15 minutes. Basically, what you're trying to do is you're trying to get everything to melt. Okay, you know your oven better than me at home. If it takes a little bit longer, sorry. I did not want to turn the oven up any higher because you don't really want the phyllo cups to brown any more than they already are. You just want to kind of slowly melt everything together. So we're going to throw these in the oven real quick. The last thing we're going to do, because they're about ready, is we're going to do our strawberries. Make sure you take out any bad strawberries. Okay, you don't want to use them. And on that sheet, it says to quarter them. However, if you quarter that, it's a little ridiculous. Okay. This is what we're talking about. This works perfect if you quarter it. This one will need to cut a little more than that. So for the small ones, we just want to take the top off, make sure there's no green, and you simply want to cut them down into quarters. For the slightly larger ones, you want to top them the same way, and you want to split them in half long ways first. Once they're split in half long ways, then just begin slicing them down so that it's about the same size as what the quarter one was. Eight, maybe 10 slices out of that. So you don't really need a whole lot of berries to do this, just a few. Even this one we can actually do in 3.
Do you wash the strawberries?
I do not wash any of my fruit. I do not wash any of my vegetables, but that's just a personal thing.
Not even mustard greens?
I don't wash any of my stuff.
There was a pile of sand in those greens I cleaned yesterday.
Probably why I don't eat mustard greens. I think that when you wash food, especially if you're not going to eat it completely, it tends to increase the speed of bacteria growth on it, and it makes it mold faster. So if you take a whole pint of tomatoes and you wash them, and then you put the thing in the refrigerator, you basically just made wet tomatoes, and wet is the key ingredient in bacteria growth. So for me personally, I don't wash anything. I take the skin off it.
I cook it. I don't wash it in the refrigerator.
I don't like to wash stuff. That's just how it's just a personal thing. This stuff has to go through so many rules and regulations and plants and factories and Bob and Tom and Fred that by the time it gets here, it's been radiated, vaccinated, cured.
There was sand in that hole.
Just makes you think you're at the beach. All right, you just said pesticides, right? Okay. The first detail in making pesticides, do you know what it is? Make something that's waterproof. Exactly. The whole point of a pesticide is making something you can put on a plant that the rain won't wash off. So running it underwater doesn't do a thing to it anyway.
That's not the reason. The reason is
So
bugs and
Well.
bugs.
bugs and dirt work. Okay, can everybody?
Well, it was good.
Can everybody see these on this camera overhead? Okay, see how they've kind of melted and it's all kind of gooey and mixed together, but it hasn't mixed into a giant pool. Okay, we're looking for it so that you still have all 3 flavors in there together. There are a few that turned a little sideways, and I apologize for that. But for the most part, when you look at them, you can actually see the strawberry, the cheese, and the fig. And that's what you're looking for. You want to be able to try it and actually taste all 3 things together, but still taste everything individually. We're going to layer all of them out on our tray. Now, I would tell you to put them on your tray first before you put your strawberries in them. The only reason for that is it's very difficult once you put strawberry in there to get them all lined up and facing the same way. If you put them on your tray first and you go back through and you put your strawberries in them, it's much easier to garnish them uniformly. We'll get all these on here real quick. Again, it doesn't take very long, just a matter of a few minutes. And I like the fig and the strawberry because I think it gives it a different color. It's the lighter and the darker, and then the bright white, and you have the tan from the cups. Get that last one on there. And then all we're going to do with our strawberries is lay them through them. Now, how you put these on there is completely up to you. If I'm using a strawberry, I like to see the seeds in it, right? For some reason, I like how that looks. And I like to place them about the center so they kind of stick up and out, just to kind of make it a little more presentable. Most of us eat with our eyes, and if it doesn't look very good, most people aren't going to try it, unless somebody like me is telling you you have to or it's worth it. So if you can take an extra second or an extra step and make them slightly more appealing, I think you'll get a much better result and much better response. And you can see it didn't take many strawberries to get them cut down and filled on there. If I could get my fingers to work, we'll get them all on there. We have a quick and simple, different appetizer, okay? Something that you wouldn't normally get, something you wouldn't normally see.